There you are.
Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah?
Does anyone come in here?
No, who would come in here?
Don't go near the doors. Just stand back there.
Dad, you're kind of freaking me out. What's going on?
It's the Coopers. Something right with
When
them.
people talk about cinematic games, the first title that comes up is The Last of Us. And it's not hard to see why. From the very first scene, Joel desperately trying to save his daughter Sarah as the world collapses around him, you instantly realize this is not just a game. It's a gut punch of an opening that rivals some of the most heartbreaking moments in film history. What Naughty Dog does so brilliantly is use gameplay itself as part of the storytelling. It's not just about cutscenes. It's about walking through the ruins of a broken world while Ellie cracks a small joke to break the tension, or watching Joel fall silent, saying more with his silence than words ever could. It's the kind of subtle character work you'd expect from an Oscar-winning drama, yet here you're experiencing it firsthand. Then came The Last of Us Part 2, which raised the bar even higher. With its groundbreaking motion capture, every facial expression carries weight. The way Ellie strums a guitar in a quiet room feels just as impactful as a full orchestral soundtrack in a film. And the story? Brutal, divisive, morally gray, the kind of revenge tale you'd expect from an HBO series that keeps audiences debating long after the credits roll. What makes The Last of Us truly cinematic isn't just the visuals or the performances, it's the emotional investment. It forces you to care, to question, to hurt, right alongside the characters. And that's why when people say video games can never be cinema, The Last of Us stands as the perfect counterargument. Because this isn't just cinematic, it is cinema. Only this time, you're the one living inside it.
On the path of the right, 'cause I'm wrong.
If The Last of Us is a drama, then Uncharted is pure Hollywood action. Nathan Drake has always been the video game equivalent of Indiana Jones, a wisecracking adventurer with a knack for getting into trouble. And Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is where Naughty Dog perfected the formula. This game is filled with set pieces so massive they'd bankrupt a real movie studio. The Madagascar Jeep chase alone feels like something straight out of a Fast and Furious film. Explosions, collapsing bridges, and a one-take camera sequence that makes you feel like you're right in the middle of a Michael Bay blockbuster. Then you've got crumbling towers in Scotland, a prison escape ripped from a thriller, and of course, the final sword fight with Rafe, which plays like the climactic duel in Pirates of the Caribbean. But what makes Uncharted 4 truly cinematic isn't just the action, it's the heart. Behind the treasure hunts and ancient puzzles lies the story of Nate and Elena, a marriage tested by lies, obsession, and the temptation of one last adventure. Their conversations, the quiet moments where Elena calls Nate out on his recklessness, feel raw and real. These aren't just cutscenes to skip through, they're the emotional anchor that grounds all the chaos.
Tell me who's that right? John the Revelator, who's that right?
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a Western epic. Rockstar crafted something closer to a Martin Scorsese or Sergio Leone film than a typical open-world game. The story of Arthur Morgan isn't just about cowboys and outlaws. It's about morality, loyalty, and the slow death of the American frontier. From its sweeping landscapes to its quiet character moments, Red Dead 2 feels alive in a way few games ever have. Riding into Valentine at sunset while the score swells is pure cinema. But the most powerful moments aren't even the gunfights. It's Arthur's cough cutting through silence, or his journal sketches reflecting on a world slipping away. This is a game that makes you feel the weight of time. Every choice you make as Arthur, every campfire conversation, builds toward an ending that feels inevitable and heartbreaking. It's not just a Western story, it's the Western story, told through your hands.
About time. I've been waiting for this.
God of War Ragnarok is about release. It's the Avengers Endgame of mythology, a massive emotional climax to a saga that spans gods, giants, and family. What makes Ragnarok cinematic isn't just the scale of the battles, though fighting Thor and Odin in back-to-back set pieces feels like the biggest Marvel movie ever. It's the intimacy of its story. At its core, this is about Kratos learning not just to protect Atreus, but to trust him. Every choice, every scene builds to a finale where father and son face destiny together. The cinematography continues the no-cut style, making each moment seamless, while Bear McCreary's score swells like a Hollywood orchestra. What really makes Ragnarok shine, though, is its humanity. Even gods break down, even legends cry. And in the end, the most memorable shot isn't a giant serpent or an apocalyptic battle. It's Kratos, finally seen not as a destroyer, but as a builder. If there's one director in gaming who rivals Hollywood filmmakers, it's Hideo Kojima. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain isn't just a game, it's a war epic, part spy thriller, part political drama, and part surreal fever dream. What makes it so cinematic is the way it blurs the line between gameplay and cutscene. One moment you're directing tactical squads in the Afghan desert, the next you're watching a helicopter rise into the sunrise like something out of a Ridley Scott war film. But the real cinema of Phantom Pain lies in its themes. Venom Snake isn't just a soldier, he's a reflection of identity, loyalty, and betrayal. Kojima uses silence, slow pacing, and sudden bursts of violence the way a film director uses edits. And of course, the infamous hospital opening sequence, that's one of the most intense prologues in video game history. A masterclass in suspense, paranoia, and cinematic tension. Metal Gear Solid 5 is proof that sometimes a video game can feel less like a blockbuster and more like an art house war film. Strange, haunting, unforgettable.
I'll stay by your side. I'll see your smile.
Death Stranding is his art house sci-fi masterpiece. It's the kind of story that would play at Cannes Film Festival, starring Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, and Léa Seydoux. This is a game where walking across empty landscapes feels as cinematic as any action scene. Every step Sam Porter Bridges takes, every song that plays from Low Roar, turns traversal into pure emotion. But beneath the strange premise, delivering packages across a fractured America, is a story about connection, about rebuilding bonds in a world that's fallen apart. The cinematography is deliberate, wide, and lonely, like a Terrence Malick or Denis Villeneuve film. And then, in bursts, you get surreal visions, spectral soldiers, rain that ages you, and Mikkelsen's haunting performance as Cliff. Death Stranding isn't for everyone, but as a piece of interactive cinema, it's unmatched. It asks you to slow down, to reflect, and to experience beauty in isolation. It's not a blockbuster, it's an art film you can walk through.
Ready to assault.
Detroit Become Human is the closest thing to playable prestige TV. 3 android leads, 1 city on edge, and every choice hits like an edit in the final cut. Stories split three ways. Connor, a prototype detective built to hunt deviants, Kara, a caregiver who breaks protocol to protect a kid, and Marcus, a caretaker pushed into leading a movement. Their paths braid through 2038 Detroit as obedience turns into identity. Moment to moment, it's investigations, timed dialogue, and high-stakes QTEs. Miss a beat and scenes branch hard. Characters live or die, and chapters end with a flowchart that teases all the what-ifs without spoiling them. It's not about winning, it's about owning the cut. It goes heavy on performance capture. Micro-expressions, eye detail, and skin shaders sell emotion in tight close-ups. If games were movies, this is a neo-noir triptych where the audience is the co-director. Be kind, be cruel, be brave, and watch the scene rewrite itself in real time. For cinematic gaming, Detroit doesn't imitate film, it becomes it. Heavy Rain is serial killer noir, where four lives crisscross under a storm that never lets up. Every decision drips into the next scene like water through a ceiling. Miss a clue, tell a lie, pull a trigger. The case shifts underfoot. Sodium streetlights, rain-slick asphalt, and tired faces framed in close-ups that blink truth and guilt. The camera lingers like suspicion. Quick cuts land like accusations. This is tactile storytelling. Search rooms, read people, make timed choices, and ride QTEs that bruise. Failures don't reload. They rewrite, locking new chapters or ending others. Why it's cinematic? It's not an action movie, it's a pressure cooker. By the warehouse finale, fate is a flowchart of courage, evidence, and luck. And the epilogues feel earned, not handed out. If the base Cyberpunk 2077 was a neon-drenched crime saga, Phantom Liberty is pure spy thriller. A game that feels like Blade Runner colliding with a James Bond film. CD Projekt Red reimagined Night City as a stage for political intrigue, espionage, and betrayal, and it plays out with the same intensity as a Hollywood blockbuster. You step into Dogtown, a lawless district dripping with corruption and danger, and from the first mission, the stakes feel higher. This isn't just about cyberware upgrades or street cred. It's about national security, double crosses, and survival. The moment you meet Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba, it becomes clear. This is prestige television inside a video game. Reed carries the screen like a seasoned MI6 agent, and his chemistry with V grounds the story in grit and humanity. Visually, it's some of the most cinematic work in gaming. Neon streets glowing with rain, tense shootouts in abandoned skyscrapers, and espionage missions that feel like they belong in Mission Impossible. But what makes Phantom Liberty unforgettable is its ending. Few DLCs leave you reeling the way this one does, forcing you to confront choices that ripple through V's entire fate. This isn't just an expansion, it's a self-contained spy epic, moody, tense, stylish, proving that Cyberpunk works best when it leans fully into cinematic storytelling. Alan Wake 2 is pure psychological horror cinema. Remedy has always blurred the line between games and movies, but here they went all in, blending live-action sequences, surreal dreamscapes, and atmospheric gameplay into something that feels straight out of David Fincher or David Lynch. The story is split between two perspectives: Saga Anderson, an FBI agent investigating ritual murders, and Alan Wake, trapped in the dark place, desperately trying to write his way out. It's shot like a prestige horror show, with every flashlight beam, every shadow framed like a scene from True Detective meets The Shining. What makes Alan Wake 2 so cinematic is its mood. You're not just solving mysteries, you're swimming through layers of reality, questioning what's real and what's written. Remedy uses lighting, sound, and surreal transitions in ways that most movies wouldn't even dare. And the performances, top tier. Alan's weary desperation, Saga's grounded determination, and the unnerving presence of Mr. Scratch. It's like watching a horror film unfold, except you're directing each step. The brilliance of Alan Wake 2 is that it doesn't just borrow from cinema, it reinvents it. Few games make you feel like you're inside a television screen, flipping between genres, nightmares, and reality itself. It's not just a horror game, it's a playable thriller masterpiece.